whenever a startup has to make a decision of selling some products or services into a certain market, what exactly happens? They have a very broad idea of their customers. For instance, they are thinking about selling it in the US market. But other than that, to what type of customers they are going to sell it to them? That's a huge question. And that's where we actually define our customer segments within the business model canvas. And within those customer segments, we also define the ideal customer profile. Now, this ideal customer profile contains a lot of characteristics. And we have a very customized playbook for this purpose so that you should know what type of customer, what type of interest, what type of buying behaviors, what type of strategic decision making, what type of geographies, what type of interest they are having. And then after collecting this type of information, you are in a better position to hit on the nail and directly access your customer to reach out and convey your message and sell your products or services. So there could be mainly two types of customers for you. That could be B2B and B2C. In business to business means B2B customers, you can have a look at the screen that we have a defined playbook for the B2B customers' ideal customer profile pattern. So have a look on the screen. Here you see that there are certain attributes of this playbook, and within those you have some questions to be answered under the category of company demographics. So these company demographics actually define where your ideal customer actually operates in. What is the company size? Where is the company located? What type of operational constraints limit their ability to grow or innovate? What type of external factors impact their decision making? So if you see these demographics, these are very basic questions which you should know before going to the market to sell your product or service. But all these sufficient to answer? Not at all. Then we go on for decision-making process. Remember, when you are going for a B2B customer, you need to have this understanding that there will be an organization, they will be having certain organizational metrics. There will be certain teams or committees or boards who will be taking these decisions. So for that, you will have to identify who is the key decision maker. It could be their CEO, their manager, some HR or CTO or any other person. And within those domains where your services are required, what type of challenges regarding their businesses they are facing at the moment? What type of KPIs most matter to them? What are the biggest obstacles preventing decision makers from adopting new solutions? Because they might be facing a lot of issues, but they are still reluctant to buy a solution from a third party. And then what type of obstacles do they face when seeking approval for new products or services? So what does it mean? That within their committees or their boards or organizational hierarchy, there might be certain challenges or there might be some government applied regulations or restrictions. Because of those, they may not be comfortable in buying solutions. So if there comes a situation like this, we will have to deal with it accordingly. If they had bought certain solutions previously, what type of mistakes they had made with the previous vendors and they don't want to repeat it. So this is also very important before going to the customer and pitching your solution to them so that they could buy and they could experience your services. Then comes the buying behavior. What type of buying behavior is found in those customers? For instance, How do they typically find solutions? Like they go for referrals, they go for partnerships, online searches, or they make some decisions as an outcome of certain ads on LinkedIn or Meta or Google ads or anything else. Then, what concerns do they have when choosing a vendor like you? What type of constraints they might be looking for, what type of concerns they might have. For instance, they can talk about the quality, the speed of delivery, the accuracy, the cost effectiveness, or any other thing. How long does it typically take for them to make a purchase decision? Remember, when organizations are making some buying decisions, they take time. They have certain formalities. They at times have to involve their supply chain, logistics, the other boards, financial issues. So many constraints are there. So they might take some time after submission of your proposal or even after hearing your pitch. So you will have to figure it out. Usually, how much time do they take so that you could also refine your strategy of pursuing them? And how much are they willing to spend on a product or service like yours? Is it affordable for them? Are you undervaluing or overvaluing or making some wrong estimations about their financial capacity? They might be a very rich organization with a large fiscal space, but at times they are not valuing that particular segment where you are trying to sell. So you might be considering an overpricing over there, but they may not be considering it likewise. So you will have to figure it out. What is their buying behavior while buying out your services? What challenges do they face when onboarding new vendors or suppliers? So this is more or less the similar thing what we just talked about, that there could be certain formalities and constraints. Because of those, they may not be getting so much comfortable, or they may not be getting that much lenient towards you. And they may be having certain challenges within that organization. So there could be a lot of challenges in which they will have to spend a lot of time or energies or even go extra mile to buy your solution. So if you can figure out these challenges too, that will also help you a lot. How do they measure the success of a vendor relationship? There could be certain matrices of this success. They could be like they are not looking at you for just one time product or service, or they are just looking for a cost-effective solution always, or they could be looking at you as a serial successful vendor in certain types of solutions for other organizations, and once you have developed a rapport, then they are going to come to you. Competitive landscape. So you will have to see whether they are using the same solution what you are offering through a different vendor, or this is their first time that you are going to pitch it to them and they are also going to experience it for the very first time in their organization. So you will have to see, are they currently purchasing from a competitor? If yes, what type of competitors are those? Then what do competitors offer that keeps them from switching to your solution? Obviously, there could be certain reasons. It's a business. But there are also trade-offs between different types of vendors and organizations and competitors. So you will have to figure it out. What type of differences could be differentiated over there, which could make you certain, attractive, appealing, and persuasive for them. Then how does pricing influence their decision when choosing a vendor or solution? Are they cost or price sensitive, or they are just focusing on quality and delivery of services or coverage, or your presentation, your branding, or any other thing? What frustrations do they have with existing competitors' solution? If you think that they can move away from their existing vendor, then you will have to figure out what type of frustrations they are facing with their existing vendor, because this will help you out how to make those weaknesses in as your strengths and transform and address them accordingly. Then what challenges do they face that your product or service can solve? Their existing vendor may also not be covering them from all aspects. There might be certain loopholes. There might be some gaps in their services and their solutions. So once you figure out what types of shortcomings they are facing, you will be in a better position to pitch your solution accordingly. What makes your solution unique to them? In that case, what type of distinguishing or differentiation you can make to pitch higher and attract them concisely? What added value would make them reconsider switching vendors? So for instance, you are pitching them the similar thing for what they are already having a solution from the market. So either you will have to add some differentiator or you will have to have some value addition services to attract them. It could be some bundles of discounts or packages. It could be some early delivery. It could be like 24/7 support. It could be like offering them different complementary services along with your main and augmented service. Now, the next part is, let's assume you have attempted all these questions and you got the answers against all of these questions. Now, where you are going to utilize all of them? For instance, we call it strategic mapping, in which you will be applying all these answers under your business model canvas or your business strategy. So for instance, if you're talking about where your ideal customer operates in, so that is actually helping you to define your market segmentation as well as niche marketing. Then the second thing was, what was your company size? Your ideal customer profiles company size. That helps you again defining the market segmentation and niche marketing. When we talk about what operational constraints limit their ability to grow or innovate, it directly jumps to the customer pain point. And customer pain point is always prioritized in your marketing messages, in which you have to communicate it to the customer that this is your pain point and I'm going to transform this pain point into such a solution that will solve all your challenges. Similarly, what external factors impact their decision making? So you can also address such type of pain points into value propositions from your services point of view, and then you can pitch it to the customer. Similarly, if you have found out who is the key decision maker, so it means that you will have to tune your sales strategy accordingly. Your sales messages, your channels should be tuned according to the CEO or the HR manager or the CTO. That's not about email marketing for masses. That's not about abruptly or randomly designed Google ads or LinkedIn ads. That should typically define the addressee of your ad. That should be the CEO, if you have found out so far, or the CTO, or the person who is the most relevant one in making this decision, because you want to hit it on nail. What are their biggest challenges? So these biggest challenges are again getting you towards their customer pain point as well as customer need alignment. So you can see that all these things are actually hitting you or taking you towards the right approach of your business strategy. Now let's have a look at the buying behavior. How do they typically find solutions? Like they get it through referrals or partnerships or any other medium. So this is actually leading you towards lead generation and defining your acquisition strategy, the customer acquisition strategy, from where you are going to get your customer. So this is not only about defining the pain points of your ideal customer, but also how to access them, what to preach to them, and how to deal with them while making a sales message to them. It could be a sales message, or it could be a partnership message, or it could be a casual interaction with them where you can just see and evaluate how to make a sale to them. Now let's jump to the competitive landscape like A20. How does pricing influence their decision when choosing a vendor or solution? So how this question's answer is going to help you out in defining your business strategy. Actually, that is helping you out at your pricing strategy and revenue optimization strategy, in which you are actually not getting confused how and what to price to your customer. Although there are a lot of pricing techniques and strategies you may be using earlier in your business, according to the customer's profile, you will have to make certain adjustments and you will have to show some flexibility in adjusting the prices. So this will give you a very good idea at what scale or what level you will have to set your price. So I'm randomly picking some other points. For instance, at A23, what makes your solution unique to them? So this is actually your differentiation strategy. And we are going to discuss differentiation at large in a different session where we will be discussing what type of differentiation we can apply. So it's all about the questions, the answers, which will get you somewhere and help you out in your business strategy, the exact strategic mapping. Now there could be another question in your mind. How I am going to get all these types of information? Of course, you cannot get answer to all of these questions, but you will have to make an effort to get maximum information as much as you can, so that your business portfolio, your business strategy, your business model canvas, your customers' pain points, and your value proposition could be aligned somewhere. Now the question is again, how are you going to get answers to all these questions? So not all the questions can be answered through one single source. For instance, let's get back to A1. What industry does your ideal customer operate in? So here you see, this is your research strategy in which you are defining. Actually, this question will be answered through market research. It could be LinkedIn industry reports or competitor analysis or Statista or SEMrush or Ahref. Tools are there, Gartner study is there. So you can easily identify to what type of customers you are dealing and where they can be found, what type of industry they belong to. Similarly, what is the company size? So this can also be derived through LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Crunchbase, or company websites. You can make a market research over there. And there could be certain things which you will be directly asking to the customers. For instance, you have shortlisted like 5 to 10 to 15 people who could belong to your target market. And then you can directly ask them different things. If not possible in a direct way, you can make an indirect inquiry or question to them. Can you only get this information from this interview or interaction with them? Yes, you can get it from there. But other than that, you can also derive this information from industry surveys where different people or authors have published their researches on this. So similarly, you can say for each category, either it is company demographics or decision-making process or buying behavior or competitive landscape, there are certain research strategies from where you can easily extract the information what you are looking for. Once you have conducted some interviews or interactions with the customers, you have made your surveys, you have gone through different types of platforms, and you have studied the industry reports, you will be in a much better position to fill this playbook for you so that your ideal customer profile is completed. So once you have identified all the pain points, customer interactions, you have gone through the industry reports, and you have utilized certain tools to get the required information, you are in a much better position to address your customers' pain points and you can also be in a better position to approach them very effectively with a very concise and meaningful message, having a very good pricing strategy in your mind, whether you are going to be a differentiated one or you are going to be a normal vendor just like others. So today we have gone through the ideal customer profiling in a B2B setting. Now, after going through all these segments of company demographic or buying behavior, the strategic decision making, the competitive landscape, and everything. You know about the questions, what you need to know, what could be the answers, how you will strategize all these answers into your business strategy, how you will map them, and how to collect this type of information from certain sources of information, whether it could be a customer interaction or some secondary data resources like Google, Statista, or other platforms. So once you have compiled this information in your hand within this playbook, you will be in a much better position to tune your sales message, to decide your channels, whether you are going for email marketing, you are going for LinkedIn ads, Google ads, or anything else. Then you are also in a better position to differentiate yourself, whether you will have to make a differentiation or you will have to go around the similar way your competitors are going. So after going through all these things, you now know your ideal customer. So for today, this is done for B2B ideal customer profile. In our very next session, we'll be talking about ideal customer profiling for B2C. Till then, see you. Thank you.